Mom died. Can't find the will she made. Stepdad says too bad so sad. Wilson County, TN. I spoke to my mom a few weeks ago and she asked my social security number to add me in accounts and complete her will. It was her wish that I get her share of the real estate in her art collection. She died unexpectedly a week later. She has over $1 million in property and real estate that she owned before she married her husband, but it's in both names now. Her husband says he doesn't know about a will and can't find one, so he's selling the house and taking everything when he moves to be near his kids. He said one day he may include me in his will, but for now I get nothing. Am I just out of luck and out of an inheritance? Your stepdad does not inherit everything under the intestacy laws of your state. Get a copy of the most recently filed deeds to all real estate she had an interest in, and immediately go find a probate lawyer in the county she resided in. I'm a forensic accountant. I deal with finding stuff like this all the time. If you can find the name of the attorney that handled any of her real estate, there is a small chance that they may have also done her will. Short of that, they may just happen to know who the attorney was that was doing her will. If she has an accountant for her taxes, you can ask them. If she uses a financial advisor and/or a broker for buying stocks and securities, they might know. If you can get a hold of her checkbook, see if there are checks written to an attorney and contact them. Same thing with credit card statements or bank statements. If she had a healthcare proxy or power of attorney for you, that attorney probably did her will also. Reach out to them. If none of this works, hire your own probate attorney ASAP so you can get in front of your stepfather walking off with any of her assets he's not entitled to. Get that attorney today, as you'll probably need them even if the will is found. Worst case scenario, have the attorney you hire subpoena her bank and credit card companies for all of the documents they have. This might lead you to finding a payment to a lawyer. Edit. Speak to anyone that she may have gone to, or hired, for any kind of legal or financial advice. You said she had a large art collection. You might even reach out to any gallery she had a relationship with. They might now. When drafting a will, the attorney would usually have reached out to any and all people that had anything to do with your mom's legal or financial matters. So any of them might remember who it was. In Tennessee, children inherit along with the spouse. Of course, houses can be held in a trust or pass outside of probate, etc. So he's most likely incorrect. As someone else mentioned, file for an administration. You could try to do some research and figure out which lawyer she was using. I would call around to the local county or town where she lived in case a copy of the will was filed with them. Call and check with local attorneys and see if she had maybe used their services. Check with her bank to see if there is a safe deposit box. Did she have a safe deposit box at a bank? Did she give you any indication who she had named as her executor? That person may have information that could help you. You can do some research and see if you can identify the lawyer she was using. Unfortunately, most people don't leave their signed wills with the lawyers who drew them up. Instead, they take them home or put them in safe deposit boxes. It's important that people leave their wills where a trusted person can find them and bring them forward, especially in a situation such as this where they're children from a previous marriage. If she had assets that were not co-owned by the husband and probate has not been opened, you can file to open probate under intestacy, meaning that there is no will, and be appointed as the administrator of the estate. If there is a will that the husband is sitting on, it may force him to bring it forward, particularly if it's more favorable to him than intestacy would be. If there isn't, then at least as the administrator of the estate you would be allowed to compile an inventory of all assets and distribute them according to intestate succession in your state. A lot of lawyers keep at least a copy of all clients' wills. We keep the originals. She asked to add your info to a will 3 weeks ago, then died unexpectedly 2 weeks later? Yes. My stepdad was out of town at the time. Not sure the cause of death, but she was outside on her pool chair when she was found the next day. Heartbreaking. Was an autopsy and toxicology report completed? No. Get this investigated up, you won't be able to do it later. Another possible explanation for the timing is that whatever health or physical issue that caused your mother to start thinking about her mortality and wills also caused her death. That said, I find the stepdad's behavior to be questionable, if not suspicious. I urge you to get your own lawyer and also look into the circumstances of your mother's death. I am very sorry for your loss. I truly don't want to add to your pain, but is there proof he was out of town? I wish you the very best in dealing with your stepfather, and I am so sorry for your loss and for the shock and grief of it all, which would be terrible even without this awful complication. Yes, he was proven to be out of town. I'm sorry for your loss. Isn't an autopsy required by law if a death occurs of unknown causes? It seems weird that one wasn't done. Now that you said this, I looked and the law says an autopsy should be performed for any unexpected death of an adult. I don't know why they didn't do one, and now she's already buried and embalmed. Have you confirmed this with the county? Or was it something your stepfather said? If one wasn't done, you should contact the state medical examiner. If you haven't left anything out. This is raising large red flags. Does your stepfather know people within the police department or the county, city medical examiner's office? Hopefully this is nothing and your mother's death was due to natural causes. Either way, do as other users have suggested and get an estate lawyer and try to find the lawyer your mom was previously using. You need to do this before your stepfather sells the property. Because once that money is gone, well, you can't get blood from stone. I don't think he has any connections there, but he told them it was probably from her health issues, fibromyalgia, and they didn't need to do one. But her health issues weren't life-threatening. Fibromyalgia doesn't cause death. Unless the pain she was feeling was so severe she committed suicide. Regardless, an autopsy needed to be done to determine cause of death and rule out anything else. Report them and maybe follow up with the police if you truly suspect foul play, and mention what she told you about changing the will. For TN, if there isn't a will, assets would enter into the estate and go into probate. The spouse also has a certain number of days to petition to be in the estate. They also are guaranteed a certain percentage based on the number of years of marriage. Get a lawyer and they'll tell you the specifics. Don't get emotional, remain quiet, as you begin the discovery process. If you suspect shenanigans, they can also request to freeze assets and there can then be a discovery process. Judge should grant such requests easily. If you go down such a path, get a cybersecurity person, and have him, her in the courtroom upon the hearing where when the judge agrees to the freezing. You should also request that the expert enter the house and begin examining, copying phones, computer, that belonged to your mother. Again, get a lawyer. Do not do this alone. Edit. I should add the properties may be excluded from the estate based on other comments.